What up, YouTube, Glow Yard Gang, Combat Sports and Entertainment fans all across the globe? You're here for another episode of We Talk Combat with myself and my co-hosts, Queen, Travis, Justin /BA, and Devon. We're here to give you the hot talk about the world of WWE and beyond. We had a good week this week, I guess. Maybe a good week. I don't want to say too good. It was kind of shaky starting off, but I guess we got to a good ending. We'll get to everything. But if you're new to the channel, guys, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button somewhere near Devon's left shoulder, and also hit that like button. We'll be taking questions and comments as well at the end of the show. So if you're interested in having your question on the screen or comment and having us address it, please hit us up. I guess you can use an @ WTC so we know you're talking to us and not like fellow folks in the comments. But we'll get right to the show, y'all. We had some highs and lows this week, so let's see how you guys feel about the shows. All right, y'all. So, oops, sorry. All right, there we go. All right, yeah. So this week we have Raw as normal. Last week we kind of touched on the qualifying matches that were to occur that we thought were maybe going to happen before Money in the Bank, and we had our own predictions. I guess we can go across the board and give everybody's opinion on, I guess, the result of the qualifying matches and anything else with Raw, and give our overall grades. I'll start with you, Queen. Babe, how are you today, first and foremost?
I'm not feeling too good, but I'm here.
Yeah, we hope you feel better. That's why our camera isn't on, guys. We had the discussion right before we got on, but we do hope she's feeling better, though. She has a birthday coming up real soon, so if you guys want to wish her happy birthday in the comments, that'd be appreciated. But babe, what did you feel about Raw, and what was your overall grade?
So, actually, Raw this week wasn't terrible. So this is probably the first time I've actually said this, and I think it was because there was a lot of tension around everything that had occurred on Smackdown the last week. So it was just kind of it was still just a show for the most part. It was really just a build up to the Money in the Bank at the end of the day. Like there were some good promos, there were some good matches, but at the end of the day, like the action really was really set for the weekend.
Okay, and what would be your overall grade?
So I'm gonna be generous this week. I'll give it a C-.
C-. Okay, generous. The generosity is great. Travis, what up, bro? How are you today?
I'm all right, bro. A little shaky, but you know, I get into that, you know, a little later on. But I'm all right for right now.
All right, good to hear as always. What's your overall opinion about Raw, bro? What was your qualifying match? I guess to go more into details, tell us what you thought about the qualifying matches, who you picked, and what was the overall outcome, and then your letter grade.
Okay, for the qualifying matches, I actually wanted CM Punk to win. I was looking forward to that to kind of like build up towards more of a story between him and Seth Rollins, but I'm not mad that, you know, Americano won. You know, props out to him. Everything else, promos was good. Kind of piggyback what Queen said. Raw wasn't like super terrible this week, but it was kind of, you know, a build up towards Money in the Bank. But overall, I give Raw a good C-.
Okay, so 2 C-.
It wasn't super terrible. So,
All right, Justin, how you feeling today, bro?
Oh, I'm good. So when it comes to Raw, it was okay. I agree with the family so far. It was, to me, I would say a C. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It led up to Money in the Bank. I did want to see CM Punk in this Money in the Bank match, but they chose El Grande. So, you know, it was a slight twist, but I get it with the storyline that they're trying to develop. And you're just week by week, you're just witnessing what CM the Rollins trio, the three faces of fear, whatever they want to call. They haven't got a name yet, so when they come out with a name, this makes this a lot easier. So that group, you just seeing what they're doing. how their interaction at this point, they ain't just nothing but, like you said, a WWE 25 stable right now, right? Just you literally
Default.
created them.
So you
We don't know that.
click default. They have the
Definitely
original
default, put
entrance,
some
the original
black
music.
gear on them. That's it.
The-
Where are we going with that?
It's just a
Their
few good
outfits
men.
don't even match yet.
The original
This
entrance.
is absolutely bonkers right now, the way they carrying it right now. But like I said, interesting spots. Stephanie Valkyrie, she definitely got her spot out. I was thinking like, yeah, she was not this soon, but I downplayed the rocket that she has. She has a rocket that's strapped to her, and she's taking off right now. So I'm okay with Liv not being there, and she still is a tag partner and all this stuff, a tag champion. Although I don't remember the last time they defended it, but that's neither here nor there. So the whole thing is just moving into what they have Money in the Bank. And also Worlds Collide too. So they're doing a decent job of both right now for Raw. So Raw was just a setup for that. I'm okay.
Okay. And what's your overall letter grade, bro?
C.
C. Okay. Oh, you did say that earlier. I apologize.
You're
Devon, bro, how you today?
I'm all right. I'm getting there. So y'all already know how I feel about Liv Morgan. I love Liv Morgan. I love her matches. I love her look. I love her attitude. Maybe it's just the toxicity in me. I don't know. But I love her. Stephanie Vaquer, she is taking off right now. She is doing some stuff. She has been a workhorse this past week, and she has been showing that she's willing to do what she needs to do to, succeed in this business. And it's just kind of crazy to see her working back to back throughout the week, where it's not really a common thing nowadays. It's, back in the day, you used to see wrestlers jumping between shows and working more than once during the week. She's been working more than once this week, and sometimes more than once in the same day. So she's been taking off. I think that she is definitely going to have a bright future. And I think that her triple threat match on Raw was a sign of that, in addition to everything else she did the rest of the week. So I'm just happy to see, that kind of thing going on right now. CM Punk and Sami Zayn, I feel like this is still sort of a continuation of the Bloodline 1.3. I guess in some way, I think that some of that's going to turn around and end up back about Roman Reigns. And I'm just waiting to see. I know right now they're focused on Seth, but I just feel like for some reason this is going to turn back and end up on a Roman Reigns kind of thing. Or at least Sami Zayn joining Seth Rollins. That's just my opinion on that. We talked about this last week. War Raiders, I don't really have to see them. You know what I mean? I don't have to really see them showing up on the show. I don't have to see their matches or whatever. I haven't really seen anything other than the athleticism for guys that size, which I think is great. But other than that, the matches haven't really been that great to me. So, I'm more of a Judgment Day kind of guy with those with that match. So with Finn and JD McDonough, I'm glad that I'm kind of glad that they won. I'm a little biased with that, mainly because I like JD McDonough. I like his athleticism. I like his determination. I am going to give credit to that for the injury that he had and how he continued in his match. So I am a little biased with that, but I am glad to see them win. With Lyra and Becky, I like heel Becky, and there's more I want to talk about that a little bit later. But heel Becky is what I have been hoping to see from her for a long time. And I just think that she is taking off and running with this thing like a champ. And I'm just loving heel Becky. Lyra, she's definitely got a future there, but I think Becky is telling her that right now ain't the time. That's just her, or Becky is just giving her a platform, but it's still Becky's platform. So I love heel Becky. And then Seth with his crew and Jay and his crew. Seth is still kind of using his opportunist kind of thing, where he'll let a lot of stuff happen and he'll just jump right in and he'll do his stomp and then he'll stand proud, which is good. It's still a good look for him. He is definitely he is the ultimate opportunist, and I think that eventually he is gonna be champion again. I'm just interested in seeing where he goes with it. I'm also kind of interested in seeing if any of this new personality, the fact that his wardrobe has changed. So if you notice, he's not doing the extravagant, dresses or jackets like he did, for a good while. So I'm wondering if they will kind of mention that at any point about that difference about his image for his current role, for his current story, affecting his wardrobe. I kind of like it either way. For this particular show, I am going to say, I'm going to agree with everybody else. I don't want to be left out. I want to give it a C as well. So, yeah, that's I'd say about a C.
Okay. Let's just make it an even C, just about average of a grade. I'm gonna go with C as well for the show. Mid, in my opinion. I know I'm usually just real brash about what I say, but I just thought it was mid. Don't have to watch this one again. It was just setting up for Money in the Bank a little bit more. I am a little with the outcome of Money in the Bank. I'm gonna talk about the outcome a little bit later. We're gonna talk about that, but there was no need for El Grande Americano to win the match. I didn't think that was needed. For them being involved multiple times that night, it didn't really push anything. You feel me, differently. So when you're complaining about talent and having too much talent that can't do anything and wanting to pay extra money, those are opportunities. Like we say, Karrion Kross, that's an opportunity for him. I'm not even like a huge Karrion Kross guy and all that, but I know people are behind him right now. So why not use that as a match for him? You feel me? Where you could put him in there. I think Seth Rollins got put in a match where, with him winning and being involved, he was the only guy that wasn't a mid-carder that was in the Money in the Bank match. It was just Seth Rollins, and then no one else had won a championship yet beside him. There was no CM Punk. There was no Roman Reigns. There was no Randy Orton. There was nobody at all. So I didn't like that one. The way that was situated with no CM Punk. But the Stephanie, I did like that one at the beginning because she I thought she had a chance to win, but with her in the situation of what happened, you feel me? I didn't think she had to be in there either. You could get it to somebody else if she was going to already be taking care of business. But it is what it is. Yeah. So overall, I mean, the rest of the show was really forgettable. You had a couple promos, you had this and that, same thing, same filler you get every week. But I'm gonna give it a C, just like everybody else. Let's move along. Go to SmackDown, guys. We had a SmackDown this week as well, which was the send-off show for Money in the Bank. What did you guys think about this show? Let's go the opposite way. Devon, what were your thoughts and what's your letter grade?
So SmackDown, the continuation of the Logan Paul John Cena story, I think is pretty good. There's more about that story I would like to talk about, but I'll wait a little bit later for that. But just the way that they are taking advantage of Cena's power of celebrity, so to speak, in the WWE, and Logan Paul's in addition. I just think that this is a great opportunity for them to build this mega heel out of Logan Paul. So, we'll see where that goes. Jimmy. As we saw Jimmy Uso out there. I'm still trying to figure Jimmy out. I think Jimmy's trying to figure Jimmy out. I definitely think that he deserves opportunities. But it does look like he's kind of just there, especially in the shadow of Jay right now. So he had a good match with JC Mateo. But I think that he's still trying to figure out, or at least the writers are still trying to figure out what to do with him and how to get him in a good feud and make things, better for him. Julia has been, I'm about to say, a rampage. And I see that they were fighting Zelina Vega, and I know Zelina Vega has been really shining with her title. I love Zelina, but I don't think she's quite there yet where she's like her matches still need a little bit of work. Her match work still needs a little work. So I am excited to see her, but I do think that she needs to spend a little bit more time, practicing some of those moves. Try to avoid botching things like the 619, even though I think the 619 needs to just go away completely. That's for another time. The Seth Rollins and his crew again showing up on that show in addition to Monday Night Raw, kind of what I was referring to earlier, just working more than once throughout the week. I do like that. I like the fact that some of these characters, talent are working more than once during the week. And I know sometimes that could be a little bit, it could take a little extra out of them, but just showing up on those other shows to dominate, especially with the factions, I miss that. I miss that from Attitude Era. I miss that where, you would get somebody who's just popping up where you don't think that they're supposed to be there, but they're there.
Mhm.
Kind of reminded me of like I forget what they called it, but there was a night where Kane kind of did the same thing where he came out multiple times and just beat everybody up, interfere with everybody's matches. I loved that. So to see Seth and I keep saying Seth and his crew, Seth and Breaker and Bronson
What it
Reed.
is.
Yeah, seeing them, popping up throughout the different shows to dominate whoever they're targeting. I love seeing that stuff. So I'm glad that happened. More power to LA Knight and everybody else who was affected. But I love the fact that they did that. I would actually hope that they do that more. I would like to see an NWO-esque type thing, not necessarily specifically NWO, but something where people are popping up and just taking people out. So, it looks like that's the direction that they've been taking recently. But I also know that because of the PLE, that was probably, contributing to that. But hopefully I'll see that some of that a little bit more. Rhea Ripley, and I know Rhea Ripley has been kind of finding her path on what she's doing. And I know she went out and kind of talked against Tiffany Stratton. I would love to see where they're going to go with that, because I know that they have Tiffany Stratton she's just shining right now. And we know, we know that Rhea Ripley she's in her own league right now. So the day that those two end up going head to head, I would love to see, what the plans are for that, just because those are two personalities that the WWE is just, they're shining. For this particular show, I am going to say a C+ for it. I do think that some of the buildup that had ended up happening throughout the week that took place on SmackDown kind of added more value to the PLE, in my opinion. So especially with the women, with their ladder match, and I'm just going to say a C+.
I got you, Justin. BA, what's your thoughts, bro, on SmackDown? You muted, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was music in the background. My bad.
You're good.
SmackDown was C+. I want to say C+. 3 hours was it's always crazy, but it was fun. Like I said, Seth and his faction pretty much dominating the whole show repeatedly. That I love all those spots. I love Cena's spot, especially he came out with the latest color, so he's definitely doing that sports thing, the sports connection, which I can respect, especially when you're selling merchandise. Him and Logan Paul, like, they are a thing. It's starting to work for me. It took a while, but yes, I think I'm there with it. Cody and Jay is still not there for me. That's just that looks so forced. And it's starting to bother me. It's starting to get pretty boring, actually, in my opinion, and it just continued. So not that side of it, but Logan Paul he's entertaining, guys, and so is John Cena. when he has a nice niche, a nice role to attack, and I like that. But personally, this whole thing for me was all about Solo. Solo, just the backstage interactions, the fact that he was talking ish about 5-2 and 5-2 overheard it and walked out and everything. Like that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them actually like, okay, this it's happening, guys. And that was pretty much I clearly and when we talk about money in bank, that was the straw. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm waiting for it just even more fallout from that. I think Solo he's pretty much to me is doing an all-time heel run for himself, and he's entertaining as he's doing it. So he's just not the typical I'm a bad mouth the crowd, I'm a bad mouth whatever cities I'm in. No, he's just doing all this with the other wrestlers, and to me he's doing a phenomenal job. But besides that, like I said, to me, like I said, this show is a strong. What I say, a C, a strong
plus.
C,
C plus.
C plus. Oh, okay, yep. Like I said, it's nothing too much to be added. I'm scrolling just to make sure I tack on other things. You know, yeah. Now,
I
I'm
do.
gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that just so we can move along with the show. One last thing, Naomi, great spot where she just gave up on that match and said, "Y'all can have at it." She's already in the Money in the Bank. She said, I don't need this fight right here. Y'all can go ahead on a fight." That is a great heel example of how to be a heel, and she pretty much played that to a T. Right now, between Solo and Naomi, they're both doing a great heel run. And let's just see where it goes for both of them.
Yeah, Naomi's could be legendary, bro. Depending on all of that.
It's she got a rocket. She's got that.
Yep.
And let's just see if they do it right. Let's just say that.
What up, Travis? What you think about SmackDown, bro?
SmackDown yet again, just like Raw. I give SmackDown a C. I love the what's that the Cena segment. I love the tag segment with all the teams backstage and the Y6 and all that stuff. That Selena, I don't know what it is with Selena now, but I feel like it's getting boring. Like between her and Chelsea and the Secret Harvest, like it's getting boring to me. I feel like Selena need at least somebody new to go against. I hopefully it's Julia coming up soon. What else? I would touch. Well, yeah, the Aleister Black and LA Knight match. I wish that had a finish, but I want to say something else, but I will kind of wait until the next segment for the Money in the Bank. But the overall SmackDown is just another C.
Understood. Okay. Queen.
Hello. So I actually have a little bit more to say about this than I did about Raw, actually. So I do feel like this episode was very strong storyline wise. I feel like that's been lacking a lot. Is that some of the story hasn't been able to build not just organically but look natural. So there was a lot of good spots that went on SmackDown. I'd say the highest one probably would definitely be the Cena and Logan Paul bit, and specifically because of something that I actually don't like, which is that they're making Jey Uso very weak. So I'm not really liking that. I don't feel like him and Cody have good chemistry, but again, back to the Cena Logan thing, I do feel like they have a good match there. It's not quite clean yet, like they don't really kind of bounce off each other, but I do feel like they have a little bit more chemistry on the mic together. I don't like Logan Paul, so I mean, at the end of the day, I don't agree with John Cena and him saying that he's the future and all that stuff. But I thought there was a lot of good references to events that went on last week that we'll get into on Money in the Bank. But I wanted to talk more actually about the other aspects of the episode that I thought were excellent. So Seth Rollins, it is kind of getting boring, but I do feel like he has made a nice cohesive plot about what he's doing. Like even his little speech explaining, this is what I always said I was going to do. Y'all can't be mad at me. This is what I said from the beginning. But also, I feel like there are starting to develop a faction there that might actually become okay, but they need to figure out like a name, theme, and an outfit because they don't ever look like a cohesive unit when they come out there. They still look really awkward. But I can see it starting to develop into something. Um, excuse me. I did actually like that LA Knight defeated Aleister Black. Even though it was, a disqualification, just because I think it's funny that we're getting all this LA Knight recently, and that I don't really like Aleister Black at all, but I think it was cool at the end of the day because it Rollins ended up coming into the situation, and that played into the earlier plot I was talking about with the faction. So everybody's starting to make sense. It doesn't seem like a bunch of randomness anymore with disqualifications. They're building something there. I felt like for a minute they were kind of forcing the interactions together, and it didn't seem like people would have a natural beef with each other. It was just, oh, now this person doesn't like this person. It's like, but why? Why don't they like them? Like, we like the actual matches, but it's the story too. Um, moving on though, kind of I have weird feelings about Penta because I feel like I don't want to say he's unsafe, but I would say for the amount of years that he's been wrestling, he does a lot of botches and he does a lot of situations that I feel like can hurt somebody. Um, and I also saw that, before with the Chad Gable match as well, but during the him and Andrade versus Julius and Brutus, I felt like Penta had a bunch of moments where he kind of lost himself and were kind of putting, other people at risk. But I mean, at the end of the day, he got himself together. But I really hope to see him get a little bit cleaner in there because obviously they're trying to really push him heavy. So if you're going to push him heavy, his matches need to look like the matches of a superstar that you're trying to sell him as. Um, I don't really know what JC Mateo's deal is, but I'm glad that Jimmy got some, movement on the card where he wasn't like him versus three other people and stuff like that. He just got a nice little, 1v1. Zelina, I'm tired of her. I don't feel like she got good mic skills. I mean, I feel like, no offense, a lot of the women come in and don't have good mic skills, and that isn't even to me a language barrier thing as much as it is. I think they don't have mic confidence yet, and so I
Charisma.
think that's causing them to, yes, charisma. And so they're starting to like, they'll stumble a lot on the things that they're saying. Like even with Lyra and Becky, like it's a little choppy, but Lyra getting a little better at her comebacks. And Becky starting to look like the weaker one on the mic. So it's one of those things where it just development and time will help those ladies out. I'm trying to remember the other two major ones. I loved the little Fatu backstage storyline, with them talking about him. Like it's funny because it reminded me kind of like those little '90s shows when like the kids are at school and then like the one kid walks around the corner and hears everybody talking about him, and then he's all sad the rest of the
Man,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just like that. Like, yeah, you
Yeah.
play the sad music afterwards, like oh
With the
no.
music,
Then later in the
the
episode, you
music
gotta learn a
Yeah, he
transition.
said
lesson.
with the music.
Yeah, exactly. But I really enjoyed that because I feel like it works. It works for the story. It works for what we got going on with the bloodline right now. I kind of am enjoying a little bit less of us needing Roman. Like we're getting starting to see other people's personalities now. So it's making for a good show. White Six, why are they the White Six when there's five of them? I don't really care about what comes on with them. I'm sorry. I feel like they need to be separated and go do individual things now at this point. Like it just, I'm over it. It's at the point where they keep building up for this big like comeback, and I'm not getting it. And I feel like we have enough solid storylines going on right now that we don't need it. They can push it to the side right now. I'd rather focus on the stuff that we got going on with the ladies because I feel like the ladies have a strong about three strong storylines right now going on with the ladies. We got the Naomi storyline, which has developed beautifully. Like I feel like they made Naomi a freaking jobber for years. So I'm loving watching this development of hers. I'm glad that like her future is becoming like she's really out there like and I love it for the fact that she's in her late 30s like really getting her moment like so it's really cool. I don't want to give away too much because we have more that went on in Money in the Bank, but excellent spot. I appreciate it. Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Valkyrie, meh, okay. They defeated them, and obviously those results resulted in who we saw later at Money in the Bank. So I won't really get in that too much because a lot of those kind of carry over. Other than that, I would probably actually, I feel crazy saying this, but give it a B plus. I felt like this week was very strong storyline wise. I do feel like that people kind of would have rather had seen CM Punk and him possibly going to Money in Bank, and that I don't feel like it affected the story too much. Like I feel like it was nice to get a break from CM Punk too. Like eventually we're gonna get a Rollins break, but at the moment, I feel like it's going up in a nice direction. But as I said, there's stuff that went on as far as with Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank that kind of tie in. So I'll just end it there. And also I did want to say too is that my birthday is the day of the week, but Justin's birthday is actually the day before mine. So actually, his birthday is the earliest birthday, technically. So I just want to throw that out there.
I mean, yes, Justin, happy birthday to him, but he got other shows to go to. You feel
Happy
me? That's
early
why I
birthday.
want. Jeez, but yes, happy birthday.
He on a award tour. He's on an award tour.
He got
He's
another
on a
show
award
he gonna
tour.
be on. He gonna have another show he gonna be on before he gets to his birthday. So you can wait. Feel me?
I meant for the We
birthday.
Talk Combats
Nah,
audience.
but no, happy
Yeah, I was gonna
birthday.
say for this
Our
Friday.
birthdays all have
It is.
passed before the next show.
Yes, their birthdays are a day apart. So happy birthday to
That's
both
hilarious.
of them. But
It's
first,
the inside. That's why it was the automatic laugh behind it.
to get to my grade though, first, I would have gave SmackDown a B minus if it wasn't 3 hours. Like really, I'd have if it wasn't
There
3
you go.
hours, I would have given it a B
Come
minus.
on,
I
man.
forgot to throw that in
I'm
there.
serious.
I meant to say something about the 3 hours thing. The 3 hours thing, after a while, you do get tired because usually either you fall asleep or I fall
Bro,
asleep, and then
I
we got to
take
kind of
naps
catch
in the
up the
middle of
highlights for the
wrestling.
rest.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like I take naps
To
in
be
the
honest,
middle of it.
we're
I was
old
like,
people.
let me take a little nap. Okay, something's about to come on. I choose matches to say I can take a quick nap. Like I don't even want to see this in this commercials and ads and all that. I know what's going to go on. So but yeah, I'm gonna give it a C plus though. I do think SmackDown was better. I will say this though. If I had went to this show, I would have been very excited because there were a bunch of big names at this show. Like they gave you a bunch. This was a very good show to go to because you got to see a bunch of folks. Like you said, Seth Rollins and his crew was there. The guys on the screen right there was there. Rhea Ripley, you feel me, showed up. Like you had a stacked lineup. Jacob Fatu was still there. So I thought it was awesome. I wish Carmelo.
Yeah, they had the benefit of the PLEs for the weekend because everybody kind of is already in town.
Yes,
But that traffic got them later, but we'll get to that.
But as far as overall, something else you said, Queen, about the Y6 and all that, I pray they do not bury the Street Profits with the Y6, man. After the Y6 became like you feel like afterthoughts and all of that, and you threw them away and had no idea what to do with them. I hope you do not bring them along just to bury the Street Profits because you're doing nothing with the Street Profits. They get no PLEs at all. But yeah, I thought it, like I said, I'm not gonna go too much into it. It was what it was. Had a bunch of awesome names. Nothing really changed. We already knew what was going to happen. It was already set. It was just show everybody's face before the PLE. So I'll give it a good C plus. I still think it's more entertaining than Raw. I think SmackDown is overall the better show right now. It's just longer, basically, I think. But yeah, overall, that's all I want to say. So I'm gonna give it a C plus. But let's move on, yeah, because we had a lot of shows this week. First and foremost, we had a new WWE and AAA combo or collab they do now, but actually it's bought out by WWE, so it's just really just WWE, but they're using the AAA name as well still. But I don't want to butcher these names, so I'm gonna go full screen for the people, and I'll let Devon actually say the match card for us and who won and all. We can get to our overall grades after that. So Devon, the floor is yours.
All right, cool. So first we're going to talk about the Octagon Junior Aerial Star and Mr. Iguana, and they were fighting the Latino World Order, Dragon Lee, Cruz de Toro, and
who won? Give the outcomes as well, Devon, please.
Yeah. So Octagon Junior and his team, Aerial Star and Mr. Iguana, they won. They won that particular match, beating Lince Dorado and the LWO. Stephanie Vaquer, her and Lola Vice, they defeated Chic Tormenta in Dallas. And then we got Legado de Fantasma, which is Santos Escobar, Angel Humberto. And they defeated El Hijo de Dr. Wagner, Pagado, Psycho Clown. And then we got Ethan Page, who fought Javon Evans and Laredo Kid and Ray Phoenix. And then we had El Hijo de Vikingo and Chad Gable, and that is a match that I really want to talk about.
I think we all do.
That is a match.
Yeah,
So,
we all do.
Yeah, with this one, I'm gonna start actually first with you, Travis, for this one. What was your overall opinion on this show? Being it the first time as a WWE AAA collab for this Worlds Collide, and what was your grade?
I liked it. Like I was a fan of it. It gave me that WCW cruiserweight division feel. You know, it reminded me of watching NXT for the first time.
Mhm.
Like, if this was a regularly weekly like televised thing, this is something I could get behind of, like really behind of. But also the last I want to talk about the last match, the main event, and the Fatal 4-Way. Those were my favorite matches on the whole card. But the spots between that what's that the 450 from the outside of from the outside of the ring to the inside, and that the 650.
Yeah.
Man. Well, overall, I get this a B minus.
Okay.
I can get this a B minus.
All right, Justin.
Yeah. Oh, one thing too.
Go on, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Go, Travis.
No, I'm saying they can actually they can replace this with Saturday night's main event. Tell you the truth.
Replace Saturday night main event with Worlds
With
Collide.
this.
As you saying, replace Saturday night main event with Worlds Collide. Okay.
With this, yeah.
Okay. All right, BA. What's your feelings on the show, bro? And overall grade?
So overall grade, I give it you mentioned something earlier. If I was there, it'd be different. I don't know no storylines or anything like that. I don't know none of these people. It was just something that, boom, here you go, right? And sometimes you just got to get thrown in the fire, right? So watching this and not knowing any storylines and stuff like that, the lack thereof, I don't know what they were building to. I don't know the outcomes of anything. I don't know none of that. So it's going to get a C off top. However, was it entertaining? Absolutely. Was they doing spots in which I wasn't like I would expect them to do? Yes, but that's okay. I had a high level of expectation when it comes to them making stunts and choreograph things and just making it look good. So that's a positive. So I don't want to come across negative. It's negative because I don't know nobody. And like you said, I'm not trying to butcher nobody's names because don't have me up there trying to say these people. And I took 2 years of Spanish. I know Devon did a hell of a job. It would have been terrible if you would have said that, yo, Justin, go ahead on and do your thing on that one.
Right.
So and it just like the some of the old callbacks, like the dude with the iguana, right? Just remind me of Mr. Sacco and all of this, like just having something, just something to make light of.
Just a prop
to do the
Al
same
Snow,
spots.
something like
use
that.
A prop.
You feel me?
Yeah. Like you forget some of the things that used to be normal in wrestling. It's not. They got rid of, up until this point, especially with all truth, you can see that they're making. I don't know if it's calculated. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're taking the fun, the entertainment part out of wrestling, and sometimes that's needed. That helps balance everything else up. You know what I'm saying? So you just can't have all seriousness. You can't. That's like having Madden and not having Street. Street was great because it was like different than Madden. It was different. You know what I'm saying? We can play both. You know what I'm saying? NBA 2K and Street. It's a difference, right? So sometimes you want to be entertained to go along with the seriousness of said matches. And this card was just all, to me, entertainment. And I'm glad that NXT, Javon Evans, right? Right, Travis? That's his name, Javon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Javon Evans.
Yes.
His athleticism and things like that I would watch in NXT, I was like, well, maybe it's just him. Maybe everyone else is just a bit slower than him because they're more traditional wrestlers, so on and so forth. But to see him in this environment, I said, oh, we might got something here. So I hope, as money driven as the WWE is right now, and we all know they about that paper more so than any other time in history. They are about that paper right now. They need to find some way, and Trevor said it earlier, they need to bring this a part of the regular 3-hour shows. If I can split this up, sign some of these dudes, whatever it is you got to do, WWE. If I can get some type of more of an influx, led by Dominic Mysterio, he needs to be the person that all this goes around, centers around. And if they can do that well enough, this can take away an hour from both shows. Easy.
Yeah.
Make 2 to 3 matches and just let them do what they do. And have their own belt or whatever. You can have whatever alliance it was a AAA or whatever. Just AAA. Hey, this is the AAA portion of Smackdown, and just let them do them, and then we can move forward. That will make so much more entertaining. It will hold us down, so we ain't got to think. Oh, this is one of those boring matches, guys. We're going to take a little quick 5-minute nap, like King was saying earlier, and then come back for the main spots and things like that. This is what's needed to be done because they're not doing a great enough job with the talent that they have now. That's a whole nother conversation, but this is an easy fix to fix that other creative issue that you have in which you're not doing anything about. So that's my thought. I say all that to say it's to see, but this thing was entertaining and stuff. I to see because I don't know nothing about them. That's all.
Devin.
Thank you. I've been waiting for this. So I'm going to be biased. I'm giving this show an A+, 10 out of 10, 5 stars. I'm giving it everything. First off, I love the Mexican lucha libre style of wrestling. To me,
It's not Rey Mysterio.
Just not Rey Mysterio. But not Rey Mysterio, but my favorite Rey Mysterio.
WCW Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing in WCW. And actually, that's part of the point that I'm going to try to make right here with this. One of the things that scared me the most when I heard about AAA being acquired by WWE is whether or not WWE was going to WWE style or WWE-ish change their match flow. I don't like WWE lucha libre style wrestling because WWE slows everything down. And I missed this because I started watching this with a lot of us did in WCW. And when WCW had their cruiserweight divisions out there, they had the lucha libre style wrestling and they let them do their thing. Those guys can do a lot of work and they can make it look effortlessly because of their training that they have. But they let them keep their speed, they let them do their spots, and everything just kept you just at the edge of your seat whenever they're fighting. And that's what I got from this show. And I miss this style wrestling, and I hope that they don't try to ever change it. I hope they don't try to ECW it and try to make it their style and dull it down or whatever. But just the feel that I got from this match, A+. And I just love it. Mr. Iguana, I can see that guy. He's already a star in his community, but I can see he's going to do some big things in this particular crowd. Now they have this larger platform. Now they have more exposure. I think guys like him are going to also have a lot of star power, mainly because of his level of entertainment. The fact that he had Jessica in the match as not only a prop, but a character in the match. You know, Jessica actually went for a pinfall at one point. So, you know, the fact that things like that are happening, and I think that the lucha libre style wrestling is a lot like the Japanese style wrestling, a lot like what you would get in Japan. There are some hard bumps and spots, but they focus a lot on the entertainment aspect, and they make it look fun. And they do it in a way where they can continue the match or they just want to entertain you. But there's a lot of that in the lucha libre style matches as well. And I think we got a lot out of that. For example, like that Mr. Iguana match where, I mean, he's tossing Jessica over at other wrestlers and they're taking bumps from Jessica. I think we even got a standing, I forget what the move is called. It was like a standing back.
The flip thing that Homeboy did.
Yeah. So I think we even got that. So, you know, so seeing things like that, I love it. I love the fun that comes with those kind of matches. Earlier, I mentioned Stephanie Vaquer. She has been a workhorse this week. And she, I think that they said that she has it was like 60 some minutes or something like that clocked out of a less than 24-hour period.
Yeah, she did 3 matches in less than 24 hours.
She did 3 matches in less than 24 hours.
And I think so what ended up happening is the Money in the Bank match added a lot more time to that number that she has. But like I said, she has been a workhorse, and just working that much during that period of time is something that I don't personally notice other talent doing a lot nowadays. Now, I don't know if that's just because of the brass. I don't know if it's just, the writers just don't have anything to do with that, or what. I don't know what the reasons are behind it, but I just like the fact that we're seeing her more frequently, giving her more of a chance to build her crowd, to build her fan base, and to show what she can do. Now, even if you don't really like her style, you got to respect her hustle. She has, she's been doing a lot, and I appreciate that. Legado de Fantasma, I'm gonna tell you, look, every one of these matches were great. Every one of these matches were great. I don't know if we're gonna save the main event for all of us to chime in or not.
No, go ahead. Use your time.
All right. That main event, I'm gonna tell you, Chad Gable needs his flowers. Chad Gable, I'll tell you, my biggest problem that I had with the Kurt Angle's son story, it should have been Chad Gable.
Yep.
Chad Gable should have been his storyline son. Chad Gable is Kurt Angle of this generation. And just the level of intensity that he has in his matches, the strength that he shows, the fact that, this guy is strong, and just the stuff that he pulls off, he's a mirror image of Kurt Angle, and in some instances a little bit better. And I'm just going to say that as far as the strength part, because seeing him German suplex somebody like Otis, and in his style, because Chad does a pause, he'll lift you up and pause and then suplex you. So the fact that he would do something like that with somebody like Otis and do it where it just doesn't look like he had to do much to to try whatever, that guy is something crazy. Cesaro type stuff. But the way and the technique that happened in this match with Alejo de Vikingo, that match was everything. I didn't expect to get that kind of performance out of him out of that match. But Vikingo, he's already a star in AAA. He's already have his fan base down in Mexico, and he does a lot of amazing things, and we got a chance to see that. I am just glad that they have the platform now to show that type of work that they're able to do, because that match, between the spots that they pulled off, Chad Gable took a lot of crazy bumps from I think we got the Mexican Destroyer on the side of the rope, on the side of the ring, on the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And just
off the post.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness.
And the table moonsault, or the moonsault to the table outside. I don't even know what the move is called, but Vikingo did. It was something where he stood on the ropes outside and did like a 450,
a springboard 450 off his legs and all this,
bro. And he landed it perfectly. He could barely see the guy behind him to measure the distance, to measure the position. He did all of that effortlessly. And this is the kind of stuff that I really hope that WWE doesn't try to dilute. Because this type of wrestling, this type of entertainment, I think can definitely keep people's attention, because they don't have to. These wrestlers don't take a 45-second break in a headlock to talk about the next spots in the match. These guys just go. And looking at the matches that they had, all those matches, they were just going. They were having 10-minute matches or what have you, and it's just constant movement, constant spots. And they did an amazing job. I agree that they need their own They need their own program, like y'all mentioned about Saturday night's main event. I would actually like to see them. WWE might even probably put them in NXT just because NXT is probably closest, um, their closest crowd or style to Lucha Libre. But I just think that they really just need um, their own program, kind of like how WWE's deal is with TNA. Leave AAA to their own program. Let the NXT guys come over there because their style is closest to it. That's what what we saw with Ethan Page and what we saw with Javon Evans. Those guys can go over into that side and they have more freedom to do their spots, to move around quickly. They don't have to water anything down, and I think that they'll succeed. Dominic Mysterio he would succeed in this as well. Given him that opportunity to wrestle in that style, he would do great. And but yeah, I say this show again. I know I'm biased. 10 out of 10, A plus. That's just for me. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Queen, you got to follow up behind Devon with the 10 out of 10. What's your opinion on the show and what's your letter grade?
I guess the first thing I wanted to say, but I guess everybody kind of like covered on it a little bit, was just the history of luchadors, the entertainment value, just the cruiserweight look of everyone, because just they're usually smaller statured, but also just the fact that I'm really enjoying seeing a lot more international talents. And also being able to see Stephanie Valkyrie against other, Hispanic and Latino talent was also very nice too. So kind of seeing her in her element. I feel like she wrestled a lot better than I've normally see her on other shows, but that I think goes back to kind of the athleticism that comes along with, like Mexican and South American style wrestling, is that it is not just the wrestling aspect, but it's the acrobatics, it's the show. The show of it is just as important as the moves that they do. Like the moves are part that moves the show along, but we want to see the awesome, we want to see the awesome executions. We want to see the acrobatics. I do feel like we, for the most part, see a lot of those what's the word? I guess like a lot of those echoes with like someone like Rey Mysterio, but seeing a lot more of it and seeing people with their own styles of it was really cool. I thought all the matches were great. Like obviously the Chad Gable versus El Hijo de the Kingo. Yes, that one was the one that took the cake. It Chad Gable always puts on a great match. I don't really necessarily like him, but uh he came, like, I feel like everybody came to this Worlds Collide like the rent was due. Like I feel like everybody put on a fantastic show. I feel like Chad was able to kind of mirror their vibe and their energy and make a good show with them. It was also cool seeing was it Kevon? I hadn't seen him on the other like NXTs and the TNA, so I know there's a bunch of people that I don't see as often, but seeing them kind of pop up on these shows too was pretty cool. It was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I get to see you in a moment, and you get to be on a PLE essentially. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool for you. But back to the Gable match, like I mean, most of it's been said already. Is that Gable was taking some crazy bumps. He almost like he was gonna die a few times. They both looked like they were dead for a second, like a few times. There was some moonsaults. I remember. Like they were like Chad was putting the Kingo on a table. It was just a lot of just exciting moments, like those ones where you audibly yell because you're like, oh my god, what am I watching right now? Like it was giving like EC dub without the violence and more of just the choreographed stunts, because at the end of the day, this is what we watch it for, is for the stunts that these people do magnificently, and just watching them put on these fantastic shows. So as I said, like I could sit here and go through every one of the matches. But we've already been going on for a long time. So as I said, I'll kind of just sum up the last bits real quick. What's his name? I'm trying to remember iguana guy. Like
Yeah,
he
Mr.
already
Iguana.
became a meme. So
Mr. Iguana.
everybody was enjoying his his whole, not just him and his performance, but they were still enjoying him, watching him in the audience at Money in the Bank. That's how much of an effect he had on people. Was that people were laughing. Some people were laughing to tears. Some people couldn't even believe they were seeing that kind of stuff in 2025. Like as everybody mentioned, it was kind of a like callbacks to Santiago and callbacks to Mick Foley, like callbacks to Al Snow, just
Santino.
callbacks to use Santino.
Uh-huh.
Just callbacks to different props being used to tell your story, even as funny or like just ridiculous as it is. Just real quick, I know that kind of people look at it like luchadors are kind of like almost like wrestling clowns, and that's kind of not to be disrespectful. That is kind of what they are. Is that they give you the acrobatic show of a carnival artist, but also give you the comedic parts of a clown, the funny hits. Some of the moves they do end up being like hilarious, or how they're executed are hilarious. But as I said, they all showed up like the rent was due. And even Ray Phoenix, I feel like he should be more elevated than Penta, in my own personal opinion.
Agreed.
Because I feel like Ray Phoenix is more of an execution of what Penta should already be doing. Like as I said, Penta, I expected Penta to be younger when I looked up his age, because of just how green he seems to be in compared to Ray Phoenix. But as I said, it was great. I would actually just give it a straight B. Like I only just don't give it an A because, like BA said, I don't know much of those people, so
Yep.
I didn't really know any sort of setup to any of it. It was just they were just a bunch of matches thrown together. But I enjoyed the matches I saw, so like that's why I still gave them a B. Like if I would have gave it an A, if I would have knew most of those people, I knew maybe about 4 or 5 names other than Chad Gable before that and Stephanie Bachhair. But I said it was a great showcase of talent, especially the international talent. And I hope that they do more talent finding in different places. Like maybe we can get some Caribbean talent. Like I hope they do like I'd really be cool if they did like a Tough Enough international thing. Like if they went and went to a few different continents and tried to get people to audition of the best of that area, and maybe that would develop a cool future of just seeing a lot of just multi-dimensional and multi-ethnic talent. It would just be awesome, I think. But as I said, yeah, it was a strong show right before Money in the Bank. I actually thought it might be better than Money in the Bank, was what I was actually thinking, but it wasn't because a lot of things happened. So we'll move on.
All right. I'll give a quick rundown. I'm gonna give the show a B plus. Kind of to echo what BA and Queen said. The only reason I'm not giving it an A is because I did not know storylines. The show was incredibly entertaining, though. Every match, they didn't have a bad match on the card. The main event is a 5-star match. Strictly that. Like there's nothing less I can give that match other than 5-star. I think Chad Gable might be the best wrestler in wrestling right now. I may be getting to that point. Between having 2 different characters and all that type of stuff, and then just giving you ridiculous matches. That's what I used to say about Kurt Angle. He wouldn't have a bad match, and now it's like, I'm getting the same thing out of Chad Gable. That was incredible. The Fatal 4-Way, the names in that, like we say, Ray Phoenix should be bigger than what he is. Ray Phoenix is that dude. Devon, seeing Ethan out there, it was an awesome show. Just putting on I guess introducing themselves to people that don't know them. The ladies, shout out to Lola Vice, man. Lola Vice, I felt like was going to be what they wanted Stephanie Bachhair to be now, but she was more green, coming from an MMA background, as far as wanting her to be that sensational Latina. But I feel like she's actually was out of place with this because she's a Cuban. Like I said, Cuban former mixed martial artist, but she looked right like she was a part of the team. I thought all of the ladies did a great job. That match was just incredible. I became a Stephanie Bachhair fan yesterday. I didn't know much about her, and I didn't get all of that attention or why she got the attention she did. But seeing her in this atmosphere, getting that attention, being with the other ladies, her matches, just the way she performed moves, I should say the preciseness, I should say, sorry, of her certain moves, certain slams, I thought she was awesome. Then, like you said, doing 3 matches or having 3 matches in 24 hours was incredible, and she did a great job on all 3 of the matches, I thought. this was just an overall great event. Like you said, Mr. Iguana at the beginning, it was just awesome. I'm only giving it a B plus, like I said, because I do not know storylines. Also, one last thing, I think Devon talked about it first, as far as hoping this becomes something that's not watered down and all. I'm not going to hold my breath, because we saw the same thing with ECW. When ECW came back, that first, what was it, Night to Remember or whatever it was, or it was awesome. They went out there, had an incredible pay-per-view or whatever, and then right after that, Vince McMahon saw dollars and said, we're going to make a WWE type ECW. So I hope they'll continue and have like a AAA. They seem to have all the AAA folks that are in charge still being included with the product. So I hope they do give them that type of platform, even if it's a YouTube show. Like I know they do Speed on X or whatever on Twitter. I don't watch that, but I would watch this on YouTube. I would definitely at least subscribe to the channel, have it down. When I had a chance to watch, I would play the show and see what happened or whatever. So I'm gonna give it a strong B plus. I'm interested to see what happens going forward. But Chad Gay was my guy, man. I left the show just saying he's my guy for that reason. Like that dude is legit. But yeah, so we started the night with Worlds Collide, but we ended it with Money in the Bank, as you guys know. As I say, we had an impromptu match with Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr., which happened from the first show from Worlds Collide. They got into it, and then Dominic actually put his Intercontinental Championship on the line. We had Dominic actually defeated Octagon Jr. The Women's Intercontinental Championship was on the line as well with Lyra Valkyria. She actually was defeated by Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is Junior Intercontinental Champion. And the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, it was Stephanie Valkyria back here. Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Juliana. And the winner and the new Women's Money in the Bank winner, or I guess new Women's Money in the Bank holder, is Naomi. On the men's side, you had LA Knight, Penta, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins, and El Grande Americano, and it was presented by Fireball. Wow. I'll get into that as well. But the winner of that match and the new men's Money in the Bank holder is Seth Rollins. And then lastly, we had a tag team match between John Cena and Logan Paul. I'm sorry, the WWE Undisputed champion, John Cena and Logan Paul, against Cody Rhodes, and even though he had second billing, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso took home the victory in that one. So I will start this one off with you, babe, Queen. I'm sorry, no. We're going to switch it up. You already had a start. Start with BA this time. Justin, what do you feel about Money in the Bank, and what's your overall grade for this?
This was entertaining all the way through. This is definitely a strong B for me, because I understood storylines and the wrestling actually backed up a lot of it. Hi. You just want to be a part of the show? Say hi to the people. Say hi. Wave. Okay, now you can go. Oh, right. So, I love the opening. First I was like, yo, am I watching the right match at first? Because that Dominic joint, like I had to get caught up on that. No, babies, chill out. So that was great. That was a great match. And after that, it wasn't a great match. It was cool, but I like how they're trying to sink in. That's why I say this whole thing gotta be this. If this is a movement, if this is what they're trying to do, then they need to let Dominic be the person. He's the chosen one. Like, he's the son of Rey Mysterio. He's the person that's already incorporated in WWE. Like, he legitly is the chosen one to do this. But it's starting to look like it's Chad Gable too, right? Based off of the El Grande situation and what he's doing. He's y'all talk about Stephanie putting on a show. That he is the one that's also putting on the show, and I'll lead to that when I get to that match.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The women's Intercontinental match, that was cool. Yes, Becky won, in which I definitely knew that was going to happen, but yeah, that ending of the match, that's what threw me off. After she raised her hand and did the initial one, I said, okay, if she does it again, this is when Lyra's going to snap on her. No, she walked around again. I said, eventually you're going to do something, right? Like, this is your character. You're building to this no nonsense type of a character. Let's see it. And then it wasn't until the belt situation. I said, come on, man, that you could have did that 5 minutes before that. So Actually, she shouldn't even Roseanne to begin with. She should have like halfway did it and then did the turn. I would have loved that part of it. So I wish the ending was a bit better for my own preference, but the two women did give on a hell of a show, in my opinion. The women's Money in the Bank match, spectacular. And we know that these women, I guess up until this point, had been performing way better than the men as a whole, excluding Selena Vega. So the fact that all these women were together and doing their thing, and we got all whole bunch of different kinds of spots. Valkyria definitely probably had the best spot of the night with Rhea and doing her little face smash. I'm gonna call it that, face smash.
Devil's kiss.
Devil's kiss.
Devil's kiss.
Yeah, Devil's kiss.
Definitely was a great spot.
I don't get that move.
But yes. What'd you say?
I don't get that move, but okay.
It's just entertainment.
That's a face smash to the mat. That's all.
It's entertainment.
It's just entertainment.
It's definitely the looks of it versus the actual validity of it, right?
What
just one of those
what
things.
Looks? What's going on? What are y'all seeing? Like
it's the booty. It's the booty smashing, bro. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay.
This is a booty smashing, and that's this overall look. But no, what I'm saying, I actually took the believability of said move, and she's doing it on the ladder. That's actually why I was actually bigging that up. But yeah, and Naomi taking the victory, in which was called that. Excellent. We wanted her. We're excited, and I'm probably speak for most of us. We're excited to see, if not all of us, her Money in the Bank run. A lot of people make their name off this run and off a similar run. We are still on Tiffy time because she won Money in the Bank, and that's just what it is. So that's how important this type of situation, this win is for her. The men's Money in the Bank match, man, these dudes, spectacular run. That one spot where Penta was climbing the ladder and El Grande took the other ladder and landed on the main ladder and headbutted him. That doesn't go right there. And then after that, and that was Seth Rollins was holding the ladder the whole time. So shout out to him. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the fact that LA Knight performed very well. LA Knight got some big things in his future, but tonight's that night wasn't one of those nights. So somebody got to take some L's, and he gave it one last shot, couldn't get it done. Seth came out with the victory, which I also called. That was I'm waiting to see his dominance and what happens after that. But y'all know I'm a Solo fan, and his spots in this joint, the fact that he was about to win, the fact that he did the Penta joint and the little Penta walk and everything like that, I got extreme enjoyment out of that. And Jacob came and Jacob did what Jacob do. So shout out to that. That finally happened, and I was definitely appreciative of that. After that, the main match was cool. You're looking for big moments, and that one moment where Logan Paul did that the back flip off the rope to the table, the line saw thing. I said, yo, that is athletic, bro. Logan Paul is an athlete through and through, so I always give Logan Paul his just due. But yeah, the match, it was entertaining enough, and the outcome is what it is. But I'm not gonna let that match, because that was probably one of the lower points out the whole entire night. That and Dominic's match, but the middle three, I think they carried everything. And this is Money in the Bank, and that's what it's supposed to be. This is not a title person. It's not a title match. It's not that type of PLE. It is a whatever it is, like the Royal Rumble and things like that. Those are the matches. The match itself, the title match, is what's important. And both title matches from both sides, but the women and the men, was spectacular for me.
Yes, sir. All right, Devon.
All right. Yeah. So, excuse me. I agree. I'm going to give this an A. And I'm going to say uh, they definitely did their thing. Out of that women's Money in the Bank match, Stephanie putting on that show as the third match within 24 hours and what she pulled off in that match, again, super props to her. I think she did great. I'm a fan of the Devil's Kiss. I might be a little bit more on Booker T's side with that. But yeah, on the ladder, it definitely looked a lot more believable. And I think, her and Rhea, I see them going at it at some point. So just seeing what they were doing in that match was great. I am very, very, very happy that Naomi was able to get the dub on that one because, just like it was said earlier, she's been enhancement performance, so to speak, for a long time. She definitely has the athleticism. She definitely and now she's starting to show off her promos, her promo skills, which are working out a lot better in the heel form. So the fact that she gets to shine with her athleticism, but also show the fact that she can talk some good trash, I'm loving that for her. I want to see her succeed. I hope that she continues going with this. I can't wait to see when she chooses to cash in that Money in the Bank contract. But yeah, no, I think that was amazing. I got to sidestep for a quick second because I wanted to give a shout out. And I meant to do this earlier to let's say Michael Swole. So Michael Cole, on the last few matches, first off, he just celebrated 28 years of broadcasting as of yesterday. So, congratulations for that tenure that he's been, out there. And on Raw, he wore a Pacers jersey and he was, flexing his muscles and everything like that. That guy's been hitting the gym. He's been putting in his work. So I just wanted to slide that in there real quick and say, first off, congratulations, Michael Cole, for the 28 years. And then also good job with the, working out and everything. I definitely hope to see him succeed. I am definitely loving the fact that he at least appears to be having more fun. And I hope that things work out better in his favor. And now just to kind of go back to the pay-per-view, Dirty Dom, I love Dirty Dom. I'm a huge Dirty Dom fan. It's a little weird. It's a little, off because of his dad. I think it's a complete deadbeat. And I think the fact that he pointed out that his dad is a deadbeat is probably what makes me like him even more. So, I mean, my dad wasn't really, I'll leave that as another. But yeah, no, I think that he's going to shine, especially if there's more Lucha Libre talent that he has the opportunity to work with. I honestly think that the heavyweight division that he was surrounded by is probably a little bit more than what he should be exposed to right now. And that's not a lack of talent. He's just not a big guy. And he doesn't appear to fit well with some of the heavyweight division just yet. So I think that giving the opportunity to work with more Lucha Libre to work out his style, build his character a little bit more, and I mean the attitude and everything, all that's already done. He doesn't really even need to do any more work with that part, but just kind of building himself up more to allow him to venture into the heavyweight division eventually. I think that this roster that they have coming up with AAA can definitely help that. And I definitely wish him the best. I hope that he succeeds. I hope that he improves and gets his opportunities to work more and hold some more gold. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. I'm gonna tell you two matches that were pretty obvious. This match of Becky and Lyra and the men's Money in the Bank. I don't think there was any really doubt of who was going to win those two matches. And with Becky winning the match, I think that the after match, basically the stuff that happened after the match, I think that was kind of the best part. I could just see, just like BA said, as soon as you saw Becky, after she got her hand raised, she was asking for more. We knew something was going to pop off because, the fact that you keep adding new stuff and keep making me do more, the only stipulation was raising the hand. She didn't have to raise the hand and face all the different corners of the ring. She didn't have to put the belt on her or anything like that, but Becky decided to be extra. So Lyra ended up lashing out, and I liked it. And I'm sorry, excuse me, one sec. Sorry, I had a cough. And the men Money in the Bank. Shout out to Solo Sikoa. I love that Solo is showing his personality now. Solo is a funny dude, and watching him even taunt the other wrestlers, like you said, with him doing the Pinto Walk, him doing the Cero Miedo. Just in LA Knight, he did the LA Knight as well. Watching him do that kind of stuff, and I don't know if y'all remember, there was a time where he there was a house match where he was, I think it was Seth that did it. He took a power bomb into a it was Roman
to the table.
In the table, and Seth was in a panic when Roman was walking over with him in that in that power bomb, ready to throw him down. And he's praying. He did the the acknowledgement. He was doing all that real quick to try to get on his side, his good side or whatever, get him to stop doing it before he got power bombed. And just watching Solo's personality come out like that, especially in contrast to the way that he started in the Bloodline with zero personality on purpose, and just a blank stare, because of him being an enforcer. This side of him, I just love seeing, and I hope that continues. Just like it was said earlier, I think that the comedy aspect of it also helps with morale, whether it's with the performers, behind the scenes, whether it's with the audience, keeping them engaged. I think that comedic aspect is it's just as important as any other part of the show. So I'm glad that we got to get some of that out of that for that particular match. El Grande Americano, I know that he's been, busy with his matches in Mexico. I definitely, wish him the best. I'm glad to see that he was able to make his way into American wrestling and start to shine just like AAA. I hope that, he succeeds more. He looks like a great wrestler. I heard that he's been doing this for a very long time. So, it's just glad to see that he has that opportunity. I think he did great in the match. I actually did kind of expected him to get a win in the match just because he's had a great win streak lately. But I was not surprised at all to see Seth Rollins actually getting the dub. Jacob Fatu, that's my guy right there. And we've been calling it. We've been waiting for it for a long time. We've had plenty of conversations where we were waiting for that quote to come out. And I am so glad that they actually had that quote in the match. The "I hate you" solo. It rang loud and clear to me. And for him to finally make that separation from Solo, because you saw it coming. They gave us a slow burn and you saw it coming. But how they pulled it off, I think it was great. I really appreciate how they let us believe that he was still going to help him a little bit. And I mean, come on, that all gas, no brains comment, I probably would have took him out right there. But he was smart how he held out and then let that, kind of simmer over to the ladder match. So I like that they did it that way. Seth Rollins, second time Money in the Bank winner. So we all know that he's going to get the title back from having this contract. We know that the way that he's going and him being the ultimate opportunist, we know that it's coming soon. But still, the highlight for me in that match in the end was the Jacob and Solo. I'm wondering when they're going to pull the trigger for the actual match. Like, is that going to be a SummerSlam match? Because now that we have this oversaturation of these PLEs and we're having them, I don't know, like every 2 weeks, something like that, which kind of feels like a lot to me. But now that we're having those, I don't know, with this being June, if something like that would be held off until SummerSlam. In the past, you'd probably see something like that happen. They'd probably have a build-up storyline, have a little pause in between, let it get worse down the road, and then eventually end up in SummerSlam around this time of year. But I'm guessing we're going to get that pretty soon. I do personally feel that those PLEs should just be Raw and SmackDown, just for the content, instead of having again, every 2 weeks, another PLE, but that's just my own personal opinion. Then we move on to Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, John Cena, and Logan Paul. Love him or hate him, Logan Paul is a hell of an athlete. Logan Paul does a lot of crazy stuff, and he makes it look good. And I appreciate his work ethic and the fact that he actually puts in the work to try to make sure those moves work. I've seen the videos where he has a crash pad and he's trying to figure out his timing, trying to figure out his positioning, and I just love the fact that he is putting in that work to entertain. I know people don't like him on a personal level, but I just feel like you got to respect him as a wrestler with his ability to do what he's doing. I do think that showed out a lot. That moonsault to the table outside, chef's kiss. That moonsault was crazy. It was beautiful. He landed perfectly because that something like that, especially measuring the distance between that rope and that table. We've seen a lot of times where that was miscalculated and people would hit their backs on the edge of that table. So that was a very dangerous spot, and he pulled it off and made it look great. And I think that I like it even more that the table broken because we know that these reinforced Netflix tables, those things are just they give no, they have no give. So the table breaking, in addition to that spot, I think it just added more to it, and I just really enjoy seeing that. Um, Cena and him button heads. I know that's definitely going to become a match. I don't know how long they're going to drag it out, but I'm interested in seeing how that turns out. Um, I actually wondered if they were going to have them kind of button heads in the match at all because both of their egos, both of their personalities, as far as their characters are concerned, I just didn't really see that lasting too long. So hopefully we get a better view on what happens with that come. I think they're both on Raw and see how that ends up going. Uh, the ending of the match, top tier. I know we'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, I still think that the combination of the way everything played out, I loved it. I love that the work that a lot of them put in, and I'm gonna keep that as an A.
All right, Queen.
Oh, so the Money in the Bank was the high point, I guess, of the weekend, and what we all waited for. I'd say the best matches for the most part that I enjoyed was women's Money in the Bank match, and then just because Naomi won, I felt like the women had hit a bunch of awesome spots. There was two parts where there was dueling scenes done on the ladders, which was amazing. Um, I would feel like for the most part, nobody really was botching moves, and they were selling moves really well. Rhea was selling a lot of the ladder moves that were done on her. At some point, she was covered in ladders. Um, and I feel like all of it was a good build up to Naomi winning. I did say that I felt like she was going to win. I thought it was going to be her or Stephanie. I just didn't feel like they were going to push Naomi, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that I was wrong. um, I think the Dominic and Octagon Jr. Match was basically kind of like a continuation of the things that we saw at the Worlds Collide. So it was entertaining, but I mean, it wasn't really what everybody was there for. Um, I really didn't care much for the Becky Lyra match. I kind of, as I said earlier, even though a lot of their talking points are getting better, I don't really care much for this beef at all. I feel like it's gone on too far, and I feel like the heel they're trying to make Becky kind of seem like it just seems more desperate instead of it just not this just doesn't this no thank you. That's how I feel about it. No thank you to both of them. The men's Money in the Bank was awesome too. I liked the playover, like I was saying earlier, from the uh, the Jacob solo situation and overhearing them on Smackdown. That played over into the Money in the Bank match, and so I thought that was awesome. It kind of made everything work out because he did the whole "I hate you" thing. And like it was like, oh snap, because I really thought Solo was actually going to win. I thought he'd probably be Solo or LA Knight. I don't feel like Seth Rollins should have won. I kind of feel like he was going against a bunch of people that aren't even as high up on the card as he is, aside from Chad Gable. I mean, excuse me, El Grande Americano, because Wade Barrett said that that was definitely not Chad Gable because they have different nipples, but apparently that's not him.
Exactly.
As I said though, at a point when I started realizing it was going to be Seth, it kind of like deflated. And I feel like everybody in the audience felt the same way about it. Like they kind of just were like, oh, we watched all that just for it to be you. So meh. Like I know he's had it before, so it's kind of just like womp womp. Really, what everybody was really watching for at the end of the day was Jey Uso, Cody versus Cena and Logan Paul, and that was a continuation of the whole John Cena promo that he was doing on Friday, saying that Logan was the future, and everybody was shouting, "We want the truth, we want the truth," and he was telling us that we can't handle the truth. Um, so my issue with the match is I don't again feel like Cody and Jay got good chemistry going on between the two. So sometimes it just doesn't seem like I don't know, it just doesn't seem natural. It don't seem like it works. It doesn't seem like in a normal situation they'd hang out and have like a beer together. So it just doesn't, it never feels genuine to me. But as I said earlier, the John and Logan thing does seem more genuine. It seems more genuine that John would groom him as like a replacement, quote unquote. And I don't like how they're showing Jay's being so weak. I mentioned that earlier that I don't know what's going on. Why they had Cody kind of presented himself at the beginning like he was the one that had a belt, and that was weird because Jay's the one that has the belt right now. But Cody came out like he's the hero of the situations. It just was weird. But obviously the big build up was, to the T, I guess, of the week. So I'll hold back on that one. But overall, I probably would give the Money in the Bank a just because I gave the Worlds Collide a B. I will give the Money at the Bank a B minus. It was awesome, had awesome moments, but as I said earlier, some of the Worlds Collide stuff actually was way more entertaining. And that this one, it was really the women's match and the big reveal at the end of Money in the Bank that really like had me like jumping out of my skin for a second. So that's my opinion on it.
All right. Nice. Travis, what's your opinion overall grade, bro, of the show?
The show, I give Money in the Bank a B minus. And the only reason I give it a B minus is because the fact that the men's Money in the Bank match. And the reason is because of the end result. Like, as you can tell by my backdrop, you know who I was pulling for. Like it don't make sense. Like my problem is that you have LA Knight, who has the most matches so far this year, with the second most wins in this calendar year, and you just yet again for the third straight year in a row, you just want to straight put him on the back burner. Like this is crazy.
Hold on, Travis. Hold on. Travis, hold on a second. Hold on, man. Again, this might just be for you. I think you might have to get the screen for that one, bro. What's up? Let them know how you feel, bro. Tell the people how you feel, man.
All right. So look, this is the problem I had with the Money in the Bank briefcase last match. Okay, I get it, Seth, everything, main event, everything, and all that stuff, but this the fact that LA Knight yet again for the third straight year in a row got put on the back burner because why? He's not a main. He's not a main eventer. He's a mid carder. Like, so what? Like, this is the time right here in this match for these guys to shine and get something out of nothing. Like, come on now. Like, the man has the most matches with the second most wins. Like, I said this to everybody, whether it was the group chat, the Discord, and everything. Like, it was really LA Knight or we gonna riot for me. But the thing is, like, man, like I hate that Seth has the briefcase right now, but I get it because of what he's doing and the build up for him becoming the champion. But overall, I understand Dom. Like I know he was going to win. Like there wasn't no question. I don't want to take away from Naomi because I expected her to win and everything like that. But just because the main event was cool, I didn't like the fact that Jay looked weak and he's your champion. like I can see if you want to go a little back and forth or whatever, but at some point, like you can't make that man look weak throughout the entirety of the whole match. And Cody doesn't even have a belt, but I guess because of who he is and all that stuff. But I can't hate it because I like Cody too, but it just made Jay look weak. And I know that and we might get ready to go to BA's favorite place tomorrow in Phoenix, but yeah, this makes Jay look vulnerable for tomorrow.
I'm with you. So you said your overall was a B+?
That you're right. I can't the fact that LA Knight lost, I can't give it no higher than that.
Okay. All right, I rocks with it. All right, so let me just follow up with a couple of things real quick. This pay-per-view for me was an A+. You'll rarely ever hear me say that in my lifetime. Not in my lifetime, I want to say in this Paul Levesque era. Hear me say that about a pay-per-view. This was an A+ pay-per-view. I am very excited to see Raw tomorrow. I'm very, very, very excited to see Raw tomorrow. And that's what a show's supposed to do for you, where you're ready to go see the next show, build a point, give you a cliffhanger where you're like, man, and this was the ultimate cliffhanger for me. A couple of things about the show in particular. It wasn't the greatest show in general. The Dominic Mysterio thing, like Queen said, was just a continuation. Shout out to Dom. I was just talking about it. It's crazy. I was just saying right before Dom challenged Octagon, I was saying, Queen, what's going on with Dom's Intercontinental Championship reign and all? Like, he's not doing anything with it. This is becoming BS. And he goes out there and issues a challenge and all. So I was happy to see that. Didn't really need it, but it was still good to see him have actually challenge somebody and beat them. The women's Intercontinental match, I don't care for either one of these ladies. I know y'all told me about Becky before. I missed her whole run. This whole run to me with her doing this, whatever, Becky, what are you saying? Same thing with Lyra and all. They put on a good match. It's not that they can't wrestle. I don't want to say that, but they're not entertaining to me. I can do without this. I knew Becky was going to win. She had to win. She came back and was in this whole trilogy of matches with her. Like, she had to get a victory at some point if she really is the man. Women's ladder match, I thought that was the probably the best per match on the card. As far as the Money in the Bank match, I was happy that Naomi won. I thought Triple H was going to give it to Stephanie because she had been having all the momentum, all the matches and all of that. He didn't, which is why I said earlier in the show that we could have put somebody else in that spot. Why they had to wrestle 3 times if we need cuts and all of that was going on. But it was good. It was awesome to see Naomi win. Like, that almost made the show an A by itself, seeing Naomi win the Money in the Bank. But then we get to the men's Money in the Bank. I don't think this makes Seth look stronger. I think BA said that at first because of that, as Queen said, it was him versus a bunch of mid-carders. Like, everybody else on that was a mid-carder, and it was like, damn, Seth, like, really, you're just going to win this? And I thought LA Knight was going to win, but then I switched it up at the beginning before the match happened and said, Travis, I think the last straw is the King of the Ring. When I saw we'll get into that, but the King of the Ring little tournament they talked about, so I'm like, maybe that's where we're going to lead into with that, because you got to give Seth this one right now, and you can't have him lose because you kind of destroy him. But I still thought it was kind of weak that he didn't have any competition in the Money in the Bank in the ladder match. Like, it doesn't make him look strong at all to me. But he got the dub. That was good for him, I guess. And the tag team match, it was good to see Cena. I love Cena's heel turn. I know people hate it, and this is the worst heel turn of all time. Cena's whole demeanor right now is just to ruin wrestling. So you should hate him. That's how it is. I love that he's doing that. I feel like the whole Logan Paul thing, I despise Logan Paul. I know his character. I know he's athletic and all of that stuff. If he ever got a world championship, I would not be watching wrestling while he's the world champion. I'll let you guys know that. I cannot watch it and wait for the show where the main event is to wait for Logan Paul to talk or to defend his championship. No, that won't be fun TV for me. But I think he's great for what he does. I understand he's an attraction. I understand also you can give him a mid-card championship and all, but he should never have the heavyweight championship. But all in all, with the ending of the show and how it ended, I give it a A+ in my opinion. Go ahead, Devon.
I'm gonna just throw in there. I feel like that Seth Rollins win for the Money in the Bank is like Brock beating Taker and in the street. Brock didn't need that under his belt. Mm-hmm. I think that somebody like Roman at the time should have gotten it. Definitely Bray Wyatt, but just somebody else besides Brock. And that's how I feel about that Seth Rollins win. I don't think he needed that at all. They made it too obvious. Those other guys, like,
why was El Grande Americano in the match?
I mean, they needed to bring some sort of Mexican flavor over. I don't know.
But
he ain't Mexican.
That's my overall opinion. But Travis, since you said that, man, what was these highs and lows presented by? Let's move it on.
the people at Fanatics.
Yes, sir.
This I Was Told segment is brought to you by the folks over at FANATICS. FANATICS is the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love the most, including WWE. You can earn fan cash to redeem them in your orders, jersey protection for when your favorite player is traded or changes teams. They also have an unrivaled selection of authentic fan gear and Fanatics exclusives that are only available on the site. So if you need some merch and are interested in helping the channel, scan the QR code on the screen or follow the link, which is always in the description.
All right, y'all. Let's get to the wrestling tea. All right, y'all. First and foremost, they announced the King and Queen of the Ring tournament that will be, I guess, finishing or concluding, I should say, at Night of Champions, and that the winner of the King and the Queen of the Ring will get a title match at SummerSlam this year. So the new format has a fatal four-way match now that leads you to your qualifiers. It takes you to your, I guess, your semifinals and then to your finals. What do you guys think of the format? Real quick, we won't go around. We'll just let you guys, just if you got something to say, just say something about it. What's your thoughts about this, and do you like it?
I've noticed that they've done more tournament style matches lately when they're having. I'm sorry, maybe not tournament style, but just they're incorporating more than one-on-ones in these tournaments. I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting take on. I don't know. I haven't seen it happen yet. Like I haven't seen what they did. So, you know, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is at least interesting to see. It's not just a plain one-on-one match. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Anybody else? I feel the same, Devin. I was making sure you didn't say anything.
I like it.
Else. You like it? Okay.
I like it. Yeah, it gives more people more opportunity, more talent. All the talent. I know one thing though. LA Knight better be in this tournament,
bro. If LA Knight doesn't win this one, if he don't win this one, his career.
If he don't win this tournament, it's over.
Yes, go ahead, B.
Well, I guess that's what everybody on the same page. Yes, I think this is his. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the revamp King of the Ring. He's going to be the one to usher it in there. And
like he had, if he doesn't win, this is over.
That's the payoff. That's the hey, thank you for doing the most matches and everything else that Travis beautifully said in his solo segment. You feel me? This is his payoff. It's not Money in the Bank. It's King of the Ring. So I'm okay with that. I think he's okay with it too.
It's either him or EGA.
No, I better just be him. Queen, you think anything before I move on?
No, you can move on.
Okay, she like, man, screw that. I don't want to talk about that.
Move on.
All right, let's see. Next we have the main event of the show, guys. If you didn't know, R-Truth returned last night, interrupted in the main event of the John Cena, Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso match. He interfered while the ref was preoccupied and attacked John Cena, hit him with the belt after John Cena tried to hit Cody Rhodes with the belt. Spoiler alert. I mean, and and then he took his hood off. He had the little like bloodline type setup on with his sweatsuit and all. Took it off. Showed he was R-Truth. Got an amazing pop. They showed this. They put some of his product and all back online, his merchandise, and he's going by his name Ron Killings now. Kind of get the feel like TNA and all that vibe when he went over there instead of R-Truth now. I guess what's everybody thinking first and foremost? How'd you feel at this moment? This is why I gave it an A+, literally for R-Truth. When I saw R-Truth, I felt like a kid watching wrestling, as I think BA said before. I got excited for Raw, SmackDown, everything else. I want to see what he says, especially with the backlash, what was going on. But everybody just let me know what you guys think about what's going on with this.
Same.
I like it.
That's also.
I was like,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Travis.
Oh, I was saying if LA would have won and this happened, they would have got an A from me. But you know, just for that segment alone, it's A+.
A+ segment. Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this is also why I gave it such a high grade as well. That ending, really added. So the lack of certain things regarding the last match, the fact that, like was said earlier, Cody has been the hero of the match, where Jay's the champion. That's the weirdest thing to me. Jay is just, I'm sorry to say it, but he's a weak champion right now. He's just not the star of the show. He's just an entrance, and that's it. And Cody was basically the leader there, and I just wasn't a fan of it. And had Ron Killings not popped up, I would have definitely given it a lot lower score. But the fact that Ron popped up is that meant a lot to me.
I agree. Anyone else?
As long as he get rid of the truth movement, like that we enjoyed the truth part of him. But like you said, if someone wanted to ask you what's the best R-Truth / Ron Killings, they always go back to the TNA version of him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we want to see. So if we're getting that version of him and not just to him being funny again, which all signs of yes, that is what we're getting, then I'm right on board, because I started to get tired of the people that was coming out, aka like Kevin Nash's of the world and things like that, saying basically, why are y'all liking a cartoon of a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were saying. And I don't want to give too much credit to what they're saying, but I got tired of that narrative. It was way more than that, and people like him should know that. So they're just being a-holes at the end of the day. But
yep,
if we're getting this version, and we're getting this version of him, yes, thank you. And no, Triple H, you don't have to say what you were saying. You don't have to say, "Oh, this was a work," and everyone knows.
I was going to get to that part. I'm gonna get to that part. Save.
So I'll leave it alone at that. So it's all connected, and like I said, just I'm glad that is this version of him. And even we get a little bit of the truth, that might be the perfect version of him. A little bit of truth, but majority Ron Killings, I'll be a happy person.
I think that the fact that they're calling him by his legal name instead, and they didn't even have R-Truth in this poster, in this advertising or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think we're going to get a serious character. Even his facial expression when he was in the ring,
yep,
it was all
different.
serious.
Yep.
This is not only that TNA run, but this is also Awesome Truth, because I think even Awesome Truth, he was more serious. There was a little bit of R-Truth kind of bleeding in there, but he was definitely a more serious person.
Yeah, it started getting towards Lil Jimmy and all towards the end where it started wild. But before then, I think, and then we can move on because we got one more segment before we move on. We're losing time, but I think R-Truth, like Ron Killings, with him doing this, I think it's complete leverage because they needed him. Like at that point, they were sabotaging the show we asked for and all that, yelling his name when the pre-show started. Everybody was in the comments giving hashtags "We Want Truth" and all that. I was part of it as well, doing it with the We Talk Combats show as well with our channel. But like they had to bring them on, and I think R-Truth using his name kind of like has leverage now to say, I'm gonna do this my way now. You see, they want me, you need me back, then I get to control what I wanted to go, because you truthfully thought my value was nothing. And that leads me to my next point. Well, I think R-Truth get the championship. That's first and foremost. Like, I think continue with this. We've done enough stuff. We see the popularity he has. He can be the one to stop the John Cena story. Like, this is already leading into something. Don't do a Matt Hardy Edge thing where you don't give us outcome. Don't do that type of stuff. Like, you see this, it's really legit. It's organic. The love for R-Truth and all that, and Ron Killings, like, you can really make it where he changes his character and he becomes something with the people behind, and he can win the championship just his one time, his legacy championship, which would be bigger than like a Kofi Kingston even to me. Like, that would be he's a Negro. You feel me? Like, that's Ron Simmons type level to me, Booker T type level, like Kofi, that all that Bobby Lash. Like, I didn't watch the Bobby and the Kofi, like that was gone away, but if I see this, like, this would be something like major to me. So I want him to win, but that leads me to the next point. Triple H claimed, somebody asked him after the event at the post show or whatever, if it was a work, and he said enjoy the show and all, it all was a work and all that nonsense. But for some reason, we have a bunch of people. Shout out to this tweet. Let me read it. Lovely, her name is Lovely Laveau. She says, "I'm gonna say this and be done. Wrestling as a collective, fans and wrestlers together use their voices to help keep a black man's job. Help get a black man job. But can't talk. Help get a black man's job back in less than a week. That's why the how, in quotes, is important to me. 22 million views and broken hearts. Change was made, period. Ron Killings responded by saying, no cap, hashtag we want truth was seen, heard, felt, and understood. Believe me when I say this, I love every one of y'all to death. We made history together. Now, with that being said, and what Paul Levesque said, anybody have any closing thoughts before we get to the end of the show? Right now is the open floor, and you can say whatever you want.
I call BS. I call BS completely. And I think that he did actually get let go. His contract might not have officially been over, meaning he might have still had a few weeks, kind of like how they said with Carlito. But the fact that they were letting him go, I think that was legit. I think that they actually had no plans on keeping him along. And the fact that the fans, they hijacked everything everywhere. And I'm telling you, social media everywhere. You see the GIFs, you'll see the We Want Truth hashtags. The fact that they hijacked everything, I love it. I love every second of it. The fact that during Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the pay-per-views, even on Worlds Collide, those chants were coming out. And I love the fact that people did that. And I love the fact that they got him his job back. I hope that this entire situation worked in his favor, where he was hopefully able to negotiate something that works in his favor. The moment that he popped back up on TV, I ordered both his shirts, the Ron Cena shirt and the new Ron Killing shirt. I want to support this man every way that I can. And I'm so happy. But I call BS on Triple H's answer. But at the same time, I feel like Triple H wasn't the one that was really in charge in this situation. I feel like he wasn't the one that either made the call to get rid of him or to bring him back. And I think that answer that he gave was probably the only way that he could respond without throwing anybody under the bus. That was probably just him trying to avoid being the scapegoat, even though he's still going to get it. But I do think that somebody in the higher ups above him was involved, but you never know. But I'm just glad to see that everybody did what he did. And even now that he's back, TKO tried to, even on Twitter, tried to make it look like they were proud of him being back, and everybody is calling them out on that. And I love it, because TKO is kind of trash right now.
I believe it. But I'm also, like I said, I'll move on. Triple H is completely involved in this. I told you, Triple H, whoever Triple H wants, in my opinion, wants to be there, they will be there. Who's showing up tomorrow? We have another person returning?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't. There's no
might be
Carlito from this. Triple H is no. It's Nikki Bella. We already know who it is.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear none of that nonsense. But hey, Justin, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What was that segment brought to you by?
The lovely people, Fanatics.
Playback.
What was that segment? Thank you, sir.
Thank you to our friends over at Playback for this segment.
Playback.
If you're tired of the national media and the annoying ways they sometimes cover sports and other events, give the Glow Sun Production channel on Playback a try. We cover new and old school basketball, wrestling, and geek culture. And just recently, we've added boxing, mixed martial arts, anime, and even video gaming. So if you have time in your busy day, give our channel on Playback a look and check out some of our replays while you're at it. Another special shout out to our favorite at Playback. Back to the show.
All right, y'all. Let's see if you have any questions or comments real quick so we can end this show. We got Rel in the house. Salute to the guy, tech god himself, Rel in the building. He says, happy birthday, Queen. Get better 100. Devon here as well, doing double duty, saying happy early birthday to Queen as well. We got Cuz in the building, Reggie. He says, what up, Cuz? Happy birthday, Queen. Somebody tried to kill our buzz, but Reggie's back saying, really wish Jacob 5-2 was in the ladder match instead of Solo. I feel you. Y'all think you think Solo gonna take the belt from Jacob 5-2?
No.
I think he is.
No,
I think he should. I'm not saying he's gonna win the overall battle.
War.
But I think with this happening,
No,
you
I
have
mean-
to. Like that's another. You gotta let Solo beat him. That's what JC Mateo
But
and all
that, but that
for,
way
right?
he gets in the title picture.
That's exactly that. You said it right
Yeah.
there. He has a whole muscle behind him. Pause in
Yeah.
JC. Like that's why he wins. Now they can go back and forth for a little bit, so he win and then he can take it back off of him. But Solo's going to wear that championship belt for a little bit. Yes,
Because and Solo has more numbers than Jacob. Jacob is, even though he's the werewolf or whatever, he's going to be 1 against possibly 4 when the other guy's returning. Though you feel what I'm saying? He has a bloodline still, so I think so. And
over to WrestleMania, I think.
Yes, it should, or at least SummerSlam. Well, the whole thing could carry to WrestleMania. Yes. Jezza says Logan Paul stole the show, in my opinion, further proving his value to the WWE product. I mean, he does his thing. I don't have a problem with Logan Paul as far as in-ring ability and all that. But like I said, if he was a champion and the show was, and if the show was predicated towards him, like I wouldn't watch it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But that's the end of it. I guess anybody else got anything they want to say before I end the show?
Just a random comment. I love that Rhea sings her entrance theme. I meant to say that earlier on her way out. I know.
Shout out to Rhea Ripley. No, that's cool. Rhea. I'm just not a Rhea fan either, but that's another story. But if you guys could do me a favor, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, somewhere beside Devon left shoulder. Also hit that like button. Make sure you follow us at all our medias. They're all in the descriptions. Definitely Discord. We did a playback, a watch along, and on Playback for Worlds Collide, and we also did one for Money in the Bank in Discord. All our playbacks and watch alongs are absolutely free. You just have to be a subscriber of the channel and join us over there and set up an account. Do that. You'll join us over there. We're going to be doing Raw tomorrow. Go ahead, Devin. I'm sorry. We
actually dual streamed Worlds Collide on Playback,
on Discord and Playback. Yes, sir. Thanks to Devin. Also, I was going to say, yes, follow us on all our medias. Follow, like, subscribe, do all that nonsense. Also, follow me on my other channel, Captain Crown, with myself and Ro. We talk about all things old school and new school NBA. We have another show tomorrow evening. We go live around 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. Also, do me another favor. Follow our other show, Cuz We Geek, with Rel, Will, Big J, and also now our guy BA, as you see on the screen, is a part of the crew as well. They have shows every Tuesday and Saturday. I don't know if he's going to be there every time. He says he's part-time. He's PT, at least. So he did a show with them yesterday morning. Go check it out if you haven't already. Subscribe to them. They're on their way to their first 500 subscribers, just like our channel. We Talk Combat's on our way to our first 500 subscribers. And Captain Crown helped us get to our first 5,000 subscribers over there, if you could. Other than that, it was an awesome weekend of wrestling. R-Truth returned. Naomi won the briefcase. You can't get any better than it, I guess, in the Playback era. With all that being said, it's myself, King. I got Queen beside me. Hopefully she feels better. Travis over there, BA, and also Devin. I hope you feel better as well, bro.
Thank you.
This is We Talk Combat. So we'll be back next week, y'all, with another one for your head top, as my guy Ro would say.